Well, good afternoon. Good morning, actually, YouTube. So, um, we've got the. Let me stand back here. We got the flap on the bench, and so you guys know these are 5 foot long benches. So that tells you that's a mighty big flap. So yeah, uh, we got on the bench, made another bracket to hold it per the instructions, and yeah, I could see that. I didn't need instructions to tell me that I needed another bracket and everything. So we got it on. We got all the parts drill tapped, everything that needs to be done. Everything's mocked up, ready to go. We marked our skins, which is very important, and everything. We will, or we, I will. I'm not really concerned about mixing these ribs up. I gotta remember to move my camera to where I'm looking. I've noticed that in my videos. I'll be pointing down here, but the camera will be up here. So yeah, so I got that done. Now the parts that are gonna get marked, I'll go ahead and mark them so that way they get mated up correctly. We haven't drilled through to the right side of the bracket, so that doesn't matter if they get mixed up, and that's probably why Vans doesn't want you drilling those just yet. They want you to drill the left side and then use that to drill the right. So we have all that done and everything. So now the order of operations, as much as it pains me, but you can't fly with all this stuff. You want to talk about parasitic drag, man, can't fly with all these clecos and stuff. And actually, it's not really together. It'd fall apart, and it would be disastrous. So now I'm going to proceed to take or disassemble all the parts, pull off the bluing, and do all the deburring and all of the edge cleanup and everything like that. We haven't talked about that in a long time, but especially with reaching in here to rivet, you want to make sure these edges are deburred and profiled correctly. Yeah, make life a little bit, it won't tear your hands up. I've been fortunate, I've not cut myself yet, but that's because of all of the pre-work that we do, all of the deburring and all of the edge prep. So yeah, so now we're gonna proceed with disassembly of the pieces, and then we'll lay them out, get them marked up accordingly so the alignment stays the same. And and then get ready to paint. I pretty much guarantee you, I don't think I'm going to paint today. It's in the 40s here, and it's mighty cold, and it's just not a day. Nothing wrong with painting in the 40s. Just takes a little bit longer for it to kick or to cure, especially the epoxy paints. But to be honest with you, I don't want to be standing out. I just don't want to be painting. Yeah, in the cold weather. So, yep. But you guys know the plane's not going to build itself, so I got to get to work. All right, YouTube, there we go. We got all the bluing, well, not all the bluing off, but all the bluing off of the surfaces that I needed to get it off of. Man, it looks like a Smurf crime scene. So yeah, so all the bluing's off, and so now I got to proceed to, I'm going to do all my countersinking operations first, and then I'll do my dimpling, and then we'll do our priming and all of that. So now the next order of operation is I've got countersinking. Before I took this piece off, I made sure I circled and countersink this side. So I've got that to do. I've got, like I said, I've got all of the countersinking to do there on the Spar. And so I'll get all that done as well. And then when I'm done with that, then I got to come back and do the dimpling. Now, some of these, got to pay attention, like these tabs, these don't get dimpled. These will, because they mate to the skin, but these guys do not. They're on the inside, so you want them flush. So just got to pay attention there. I did notice couple of these nose ribs, if you guys see them, see how they're bent, so I'm gonna have to go in here and clean those up so that they don't dimple my skins, because they will. There's a few of them, and I don't know if they just had a hydro press that was out around. Thank you. It's 1 p.m. If they had a hydro press or something that was out, or you know, in their dies, but I've noticed quite a few of these. Actually, almost all of them have that same profile, so I'm gonna have to go in there and clean those up, flatten them out a little bit, and go from there. But yep, there we go. Got all the bluing off. Like I said, I left the outside bluing on. I typically don't take that off until I'm ready to build the product, but the inside's done, and then we'll get that ready for priming. All right, YouTube. So it was countersinking, thermite making, aluminum. Yeah. So yeah, so we got all the countersinking done. Here's what I had: some extra pieces from the ailerons, so I used that to test. So we'll throw that back up there. Oh, 2. And then we got our all of our countersinking done on the Spar, and now we will move on to dimpling. Word of caution about countersinking, obviously, and I don't know how it happens, but it happens. Make sure you check your depth before countersinking. Even though you lock these rings down, or they get out of whack, I always check mine, and I will tell you, I didn't move this at all. I just put it in and out of the toolbox, and it was too deep. So it does get adjusted. Don't know. Little tool fairies come in and do strange things. So make sure you do that. The other thing is also look at your spar. You will look and see that this is angled a little bit different. So you got to make sure when you're countersinking that your cage, and when I say cage, this piece here should lay flat to your part. So on this one here, it was a little bit angled in because it angles in. So if you go high, so you just got to make sure you bottom out the cage against the part to make sure that you're concentric with the actual part. Because if you don't, you'll have a high side and then a low side to your countersink, and that's not good. It should be same distance all the way through the part. So there you go. So we got all the countersink. Now, there are a step where you have to countersink these because these pieces here get double riveted, and they get what they call flat riveted. So but they tell you not to do that yet. So we won't do that, and we'll talk about that. So now the next thing is dimpling. So I've got a lot of dimpling. I've got the 2 skins to dimple. I've got the leading edge of the leading edge skins that I've got to dimple as well. And then of course I've got to dimple the ribs. So a lot of dimpling. That will probably be another day operation. Can't do everything all day. Well, I wish we could, but we just can't. So we got the countersinking done, and then we'll probably do the dimpling. And I have not forgotten. I still got to come in and clean these pieces up, those humps. So I don't know. I just don't know what caused that. Bad form or bad die in their press. So yep. So countersinking is done for this flap, and then now on the dimpling.